Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat. If you don't know already, I have been traveling around the world for a fair amount of time now, and I recently took my second trip to New York, and today I am going to give you all the goss. Apologies, sounds like someone's mowing the lawn outside, but there's not much I can do about that. Why is it getting louder? Where was I? So I recently took my second trip to New York, and as the queen of budgeting, I thought it would be a good idea to let you guys know some of the best free and cheap things to do, see, explore, eat. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here are 10 of the very best cheap or free things to do or eat in New York City. Shall we start with food and then move on to activities, or should we start with activities and then move on to food? Or do we do one and then one? Let's go one and then one. Okay, this has got to be my favourite thing to do in New York City, hands down, full stop. I make sure I do it every time I go. That sounds like I've been loads. I've been twice, but I've done it both times. I'm going again, and I'm gonna do it then too. It is the Comedy Cellar. The Comedy Cellar is one of many comedy clubs in New York. I'm sure loads of the other well-known ones are just as fabulous. I just happened to have picked the Comedy Cellar first time round, and it was so great. I loved it so much that we went there again the second time, and it feels just like the best place. And it's on MacDougal Street, which is like my favorite street in New York. There are other comedy clubs on the street. There's some really cool music places. There's some amazing restaurants, some little takeout places. Oh, it's just always a good night, and they make you hide your phone away, so you have to be in the moment. And both times we've been there, the comedians have all been really, really good. I should have saved that one to the end, because that is the best one. All right, number 2, we are going for, and this is possibly, again, maybe I'm giving away my best secrets straight away. This place I found on my most recent trip to New York a month or so ago, and it was sort of by accident. We were in Brooklyn. About a 10-minute walk away was this cafe called the Peter Pan Cafe, and it had amazing reviews, and everyone was like, the donuts are incredible, and I was just like, we've got to go there. I'm a donut girl. And it did not disappoint. The Peter Pan Cafe in Brooklyn is top notch, but be prepared, it is so New York. If you want to get a really authentic kind of locals vibe of New York, you've got to go to this place. They do bagels and donuts and like other sweet treats, and all of the staff are dressed in like the classic diner uniform with like the green and pink diner uniform with a pink cap. There was a local in there who was an absolute crazy, but so funny, and all the staff knew her and were like interacting with her really nicely, and the whole place was heaving. We did manage to get a seat though, and the other thing is it was so cheap, like the cheapest bagel I've ever had, full stop, anywhere. And the donuts were to die for. So, giving away all my secrets. Number 3, it's our first completely free thing to do, and I think it must be one of the best free things to do in New York, although I actually haven't been myself yet. It is Shakespeare in the Park. In the middle of Central Park, there is like a theatre that's set up. It's all outdoors, but it's completely free, and it's various different productions of Shakespeare's plays, and they're supposed to be really, really good. I think there's a musical element to them. The shows usually run from around June to September, so basically if you're in New York over the summer, you should definitely go and check them out. I am desperate to go, and I mean, you can't go wrong, it's free. Just a quick little interruption to say, if you're still watching this video and you're finding it helpful or enjoying it, please click the thumbs up. It will really help you spread the video further. Number 4, we're going for some more food, and again, this is one I only discovered on my most recent trip to New York, but it was so good. I think I saw it on a blog somewhere. Someone had recommended it as a cheap eat in New York. We are going to hand-pulled noodles number 2. Hand-pulled noodles 2 is in the kind of Hell's Kitchen area, but very close to Broadway, so it is perfect if you're going to see a show to get a pre-theatre meal there. It's a really tiny little, slightly run down, unsuspecting little restaurant with about 4 tables in it, but the portion was massive. Ollie and I actually decided to just get 1 plate of noodles and share it between us. I think we had like a starter as well, like, oh yeah, we had a little starter portion of dumplings and then a main of noodles. noodles to share, and it was plenty. It was really cheap for New York prices, delicious food, very satisfying, very full, really cute place. If you're looking for a really good value pre-theatre meal, that's your baby. Is that what they say? That's your Bob's your uncle. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to end up saying this about every single thing I tell you about today, but this has got to be one of the best things to do in New York. For free, anyway. It is the Staten Island Ferry. The Staten Island Ferry, for anyone who doesn't know, is a completely free ferry that takes you from Manhattan Island over to another island. I can't remember which one it is. Oh, obviously to Staten Island. That was the most stupid thing I've ever done on camera. I might cut that. But the point of getting on the Staten Island Ferry for free is that it goes straight past the Statue of Liberty. It's the only free way to do it, to get that close, and I would highly recommend. Like, that's just one to tick off the bucket list, isn't it? Next up, back onto food. We are on number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6 is the Galaxy Diner. This is a classic no-frills American diner in Hell's Kitchen again. It was recommended to me by a friend who lives in New York. She rated it highly. It is, again, I feel like bucket list material. You've got to go to an American diner if you're in New York, surely. Number 7. We've been talking a lot about pre-theatre shows, Broadway shows. Are you going to go and see a show? If you're going to go and see a show and you are on a budget, you have got to get your tickets at the TKTS booth. There are 2 TKTS booths in New York. The main one is in Times Square. You cannot miss it. It's pretty big. And every day of the week, they sell discounted tickets for shows on the day. Get there as early as possible and bag yourself a very discounted ticket. Next up, number 8. We're going back to food and we're heading to Chinatown. Chinatown has some of the cheapest food in the whole of New York City, and it's so damn good. I really recommend spending some time walking through the streets of Chinatown. You can pop into various different places. Dumplings are an absolute smash hit. There are so many cheap and really good restaurants in Chinatown. You are sure to find some delicious and very affordable Chinese food. Number 9. If you're looking for a little bit of culture, a little bit of history, here is something completely free for you to do in New York City. It is the New York Public Library in Bryant's Park. This library is like hundreds of years old. It is so beautiful. There is so much to see in there. It just feels cool and cultural and old and fantastic. The architecture, like the staircases, the ceilings, the windows, like everything's really cool, really old. You feel like you're in a film. And whilst you're there, Bryant's Park is also fab. On a sunny day, get yourself a little croissant and a coffee, go and sit in Central Park. I mean, Bryant's Park. So good. Right, this is it. This is number 10. We are going to, I know I've said this already, but this is probably one of my favorite places to eat in New York, and it's really affordable. It is Los Tacos Numero Uno, or as we say in English, Los Tacos number 1. Again, this is a kind of no frills place. You're gonna get your bit of culture along with your good food. At peak times, i.e. breakfast, lunch and dinner times, there is usually a queue outside most of these places, but it is worth it and the queue moves quickly because it's a very in and out kind of a place. You queue up to get your tacos, you choose whether you want your corn or your wheat tortillas. Tell the chefs and they make it all up for you. You can get chips and guacamole, and then there aren't really any seats. There are kind of like standing tables everywhere. You go, you eat your food and you get out. But let me tell you, it's worth it. The food is really, really delicious. Like probably the most authentic tacos I've ever had outside of Mexico. I am obsessed. If you're looking for more info on how to do New York on a budget, please click this video here. I will see you next week with another one, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell for notifications. Goodbye!